What? Hello, lovely peoples. I am Michelle. This is my wheelchair Betty. Watching Rose NYC. I'm actually, if I seem like I'm in some kind of a low energy mood, it's because I went to a protest this morning in support of DACA, and it was announced. Smelling my hat, sorry. It was announced that DACA was repealed. And it was announced that DACA was repealed by a young immigrant activist, and she just started crying as she announced it. And while I am not the least bit surprised that 45 and his administration did not do the right thing, because it's him. I mean, if he ever did the right thing, then I'd be like, holy fuck, that would, like, I don't know, my brain might actually implode because that would be a surprise. So I was not the least bit surprised, but at the same time, simultaneously, I was moved in the heart by this young activist who's also immigrant, who just started crying because she would be directly impacted by this repeal. That being said, it's not over. We can still resist, and there's more work to be done. It's not over. So I keep seeing a fly in the thing. Either my hat's too tight. I don't know. Either one's possible at this point in time. What I want to talk about, though, was, and it feels a little weird, like on that note, let's talk about something else, but the video is not about this. In the past, whenever I go to protests, I always took my nice camera, which, hold on. Oh, I miss you so much. Michelle, I miss you. Oh, camera, we don't hang out anymore. And nowadays, I take photos. Hold on. My phone is charging. With my cell phone, which is not a horrible camera. And I found out by poking around the settings, there is a continuous shot option, but obviously not the same quality. You can't zoom, and I also don't feel like I can show up and be like, I'm a freelance event photographer. It's more like, I got a cell phone. Click, click, click. I just don't feel like I haven't. Maybe I need to find that within and be like, no, I'm still a photographer, just I've downsized because of my spine setback. Did I mention that? Yes, because my spine had a setback, and now I can't hold up my camera. So what happened was, I've really noticed the difference in my activism. I mean, I'm still an activist. Ow. Wish I had done that a little lighter, but here we are. Still an activist, of course. Still show up to protests. But usually what happens is whenever I show up to a protest, more than not, people gawk at me for being in a wheelchair. And then people are staring at you, but they're not, like, socializing with you because they're uncomfortable about disability and they have a lot of ableism issues that they have to deal with. So it's tricky. It's hard dealing with that. Especially maybe when you're having a low energy day, or maybe you're kind of borderline sensory overload. You're not there yet, but you're feeling a little extra sensitive to energy. And then people are like, let me just gawk at you and stare at you because you're a disabled person. And so one way I would kind of distract myself, or kind of like just not focus on that, was to whip out the nice camera and take photos. I also really like taking the photos. Like, for an example, is like when it was announced by the young activist who was also immigrant that DACA had been repealed, and she started to cry. What I would have done is zoomed in, not intrusively, but I would have been in the front row, and I would have caught that moment of emotion, and I would have documented that. Not to exploit the situation, but I think sometimes, there's so much injustice that happens in this world. Something's on my leg. Sorry. There was just random sensations. Okay, I'm fine. There's so much injustice going on in the world. And sometimes, I don't know when you get cold to it, but you sometimes can forget to put a face and put like a human to it, and sense of humanity to it. And so I think taking these photos where you see human emotion connected to this social justice cause reminds people of the humanity of everything, and it's not just this political debate, and it's like human lives are directly impacted by this thing. So I've just been thinking about that, and my I guess identity and how it relates to disability and my setback, and finding my groove as an activist sans nice camera. Although I haven't given up on me and this camera reuniting. While I'm not giving up on the big camera, I'm also trying to embrace my role, if you will, as the cell phone photographer. Did this video make sense? Do you have any comments whatsoever? Leave them in the comment section, because that's where they belong. Take care of yourselves. I don't know. I don't have any ending words. My spine hurts, and also my heart just, when I think about it, it's just so much sadness and injustice. But we can still resist. I have to really stop moving.